Boom. Right, hello, and welcome to Season 6, Episode 6, Snow Trail. This one's kind of got, like, chill vibes to it. I feel like I'm almost surprised that there isn't something more in the foreground of this one, high-key. But sometimes it being just a little bit more, like, serene like that maybe might be just a bit more of a vibe. Need to move keyboard. Because I almost feel like that this sort of painting is almost like what you would expect like the painting to look like midway through, and not the like you'd expect him to put like some big tree like in the foreground on like the right side, or some like bush or some extra pathway, but sometimes it's just vibes just to do it like this. So I'm down. I'm down. Maybe that means this will be a slightly faster painting. Okay, I had, for some reason, I was like, I need to make sure that OBS is like picking up my microphone. I don't know why, because randomly OBS does this thing where I don't know what causes it, if it's like a Windows update thing or whatnot, but it will have this thing where my microphone will just randomly be deselected in OBS settings, and it's like 100% not something that I ever do. It's just like it randomly occurs. Like, the microphone isn't muted in the volume mixer, it's just if you go into the OBS settings, it's like, oops, your microphone is just not selected for whatever reason. And it's been a while since that's happened, and I, for some reason, was like, I'm gonna check to make sure this isn't randomly happening. I guess it doesn't hurt to check. Just look at the volume bars. Volume bar graph. I don't know what you call that. Just to like double check, just to make sure. That would suck to be like 10 minutes in to the Mario Paint painting and then be like, oops, your microphone wasn't working this entire time, or wasn't selected this whole time. That would be not hype. Right, G? Thank fuck. Thank frick indeed. Oop, Michael is working today. Michael phone already? You tell me he's already working? You know, speaking of Michael phones, our Michael Wave is like, it's been weird lately. I've never seen a microwave do this, but for some reason ours has been having this issue over the past like few months where when you like go to like, you know, like close the door, usually when you open the door, like the light turns on in the microwave to like, I guess, indicate, yep, it's open, by the way. And then like once it like closes fully, the light will like turn off and be like, yep, the microwave door is closed, by the way, you can use your microwave now. Well, it just like it doesn't close the door properly anymore. I'll close the door and the light will stay on the entire time. And it's like I have to like, while the door is like perfectly closed, I have to like just keep putting extra pressure on it to try and get it to like fully close. Or I'll just have to like reopen the door fully and then try again. I don't think I've ever seen a microwave do that. I mean, hey, Prack. Hey. Like, the microwave still works, but it's just like, why is that a thing? Like, I've never heard of that before. Super bizarre. Well, I guess we're playing the new Lethal update tonight. At least Justin said he'd be down to play it. I want to experience the new content so I can like watch people play it, because I keep getting videos on my feed about it and it's like I can't watch these because I want to, well, I already have had some things spoiled for me, which is fine, but it's just like, damn. It would be fun to experience some of it fresh before I go in and be like, all right, how's all this shit work? That's kind of what I like doing for like these new updates, like try and experience like it like a few times myself. And then after a little bit be like, all right, let's figure out how all this shit works. Like to go in raw, yeah. But at the same time, after a certain point, I'm like, I like to know how things work. But I do want to also have that experience of like just not knowing how it works fully, just for that curiosity. Like I remember like back when we were first all getting into playing Lethal Company, I remember after like a little while, like after like a few weeks of playing, I think Skittles asked me like, do you want to know how the ghost girl works? And I was like, yes. It's like after a little bit, it's like, all right, let me, I want to know how to deal with this stuff. Are you cleaning out the pantry today, G, or what's the vibes? What's the vibes today? Or right, I remember you said last night that you need to wait for your like Tupperware to show up, because you were like, you have your scented jasmine rice and the non-scented one. Nobody, Prac. Practice mashing his keyboard. I mean, you know, today was another day of waking up to my alarm. I actually woke up like, I think literally like 30 seconds before my alarm went off, because I woke up, I went to like check my phone, and then I like heard my alarm go off. I was like, oh. But then I got back in bed because I was just tired. I don't know. I just wasn't feeling like getting up. I just didn't feel the vibes today. I was like, nah. I don't know. I don't know. Blubbers. You know, I'm gonna blame the fact that it's been cold like recently, the past couple of nights. But I'm seeing like the weather, like the upcoming forecast, it's a lot warmer. So I think maybe all that is going away. Finally, in June. Happy June. Happy Pride. But like, bruh. It's been insane. I think in the entirety of May, I think we got like 5 days, it felt like, of like summer or spring weather. What happened to the spring weather? Like, is this spring weather finally? It's 24 Celsius. I'm not sure how humid it is out there. I didn't go outside today. Maybe evening walk today? Question mark. Tonight? Maybe. Yo, I kind of like how these clouds turned out. What do we think? Vibes? New password for real. Same thing happened to you, so you woke up recently. Yeah, I'm blaming the weather. I feel like days where I am like I just notice a consistency with being like tired / like not feeling like getting up, and then like the weather is like very gray and gloomy. But it's like low-key, like last night when I was going to bed, like I was covered with my blankets, fan off. I had my 3 blankets, like my thin blanket, the weighted blanket, and the bigger blanket. I had those like all over me. I think my head was like partially under the blanket too, I think. I think I'm gonna use the dark blue for these background trees. I think it's either that or the magenta. Maybe the magenta, actually. Maybe go with the magenta. I think magenta. Sip of water for the road. Are you enjoying being on the DK 64 randos again, Prac? Is there a new like season for the like the rando tourney happening, or are people just like doing a lot more races and you're like, oh my god, let me play? Yeah. Season 4 just started. Okay. I don't know why I started like over here. I'm looking at this like really tall singular tree, so that's where my eye like went to, I guess. I remember there was a thought there about doing like this next season of Wind Waker Rando. But also I think like it should be starting pretty soon, question mark, and I haven't played it all, and I don't even know when the last one was I did a Wind Waker Rando. I think today the stream also, unrelated to that, the stream today is I think is also only going to be Mario Paint today. Just because I really need to finish this project. Still don't know if I'm supposed to like talk about what it is or not. I honestly don't know, but I need to finish it before Thursday. And I think like the biggest part is like almost done. The thing that is probably going to be like overall the most like the part that will have taken the longest, which is the thing I started first, because it's like a 3-piece, I guess, commission that I'm working on. And the first piece I started is like definitely the one that'll be like the most like intricate slash like longest. And so I really just want to make sure I finish that in time. I don't want to flub that. The settings are different and the hint system reminds me of OOTMM hinting with gossip stones. You like them? Okay. I also appreciate at the same time, like I like the gossip stone hints, but I also appreciate at the same time with like Wind Waker Rando, how it's just how they've always been doing it with like Coral giving you the hints. It's just like simple, just so it's not like such a big part. But I think like, you know, remembering to get like the hints from the gossip stones, it's like also like a skill, I guess you could say, in its own. I kind of wish for Wind Waker Rando for like the tourney settings. I kind of wish they would go for a season with longer settings, because I think that's been like one thing. They've always just consistently done like really short settings, I feel like. And like in a competitive mindset for me, I think one thing that sucks about the shorter settings is like if you make like one big mistake, like that can just like cost you the entire race. Just because there's like so much less opportunity for making a comeback. It's like, oh, I failed this like one trick that lost me like 2 minutes. Like, I might just lose like the race because of this. I guess it's kind of tough in Wind Waker because it doesn't have like the amount of dungeons like OOT does, for example. And like, I don't think people would really vibe with like having like Triforce charts on, or like just charts in general. I don't think that's the thing people would want. I think there was like, I think it was last season they did like, it was like 2 or 3 dungeons or something like that, but you started with like 4 shards, and I'm like, I don't know. I remember there was like one season that I was like trying like the settings for. It might have been the season that we started playing in, and I remember like I liked the one that like was coincidentally the longest settings overall. But that's not the one they ended up picking. Hey Ebo, hey Owl. It's interesting DK because there's only 5 in each level, and some are locked behind moves you need to remember that. Okay. That's kind of interesting. Like a hint being locked behind having like a specific move. Because, yeah, I guess like at least for Gossip Stones, like you can basically just like access them all. Well, at least off the top of my head, like I'm trying to think of if there's any where it's like, yep, you need like a, you know, X item to access this one. It's been a while since I've had to think about Gossip Stones. Since especially, like, in a speedrun, you don't have to think about getting all of them. I think the one that I always forget about, the one Gossip Stone that, like, low-key I think is easy to forget, is the Gossip Stone that's above the Poe Hut in Akana. Oh, the Gossip Stone with the heart piece from the business scrub that you have to give the ocean title deed to. I guess I guess if glitches are allowed, you could, you know, just hover, smile. But yeah, I guess like in rando rules, yeah, you would need Deku for that. But one thing that I think is kind of dumb, like one thing I don't understand why it works like this for Gossip Stone hints in rando, unless it's different now. But I never understood why they made it so, like, I'm pretty sure every hint, like there's 2. So like there's 2 Gossip Stones that'll have the same hint. And I'm like, why? Maybe because there's too many Gossip Stones, but like, I don't know, that feels kind of like it always just felt dumb to me, like finding a Gossip Stone, then it's like, oh, this has a hint I already found, but it's a new Gossip Stone. I don't know, like, it feels just kind of dumb having it like that, in my opinion. Rando tourney rule set's also kind of weird because it's like it's glitchless, but it's not the same glitchless as speedrun rule set because like long jumps are allowed, and long jumps are not allowed in glitchless rules. Pretty sure all the hints in DK are unique. It would only double if there's like 2 items in the same place. That'd be wild, like, happening to get, like, 2 of those as a hint. I don't know if DK has logic for, like, oh, like, this check will always be hinted. I'm trying to remember for Wind Waker Rando. It's like I'm pretty sure that like Master Sword Chamber or Light Arrow check is like always a hint. And it's like if you have combat caves enabled, then like Shark Island will always be hinted, for example, in Wind Waker. You know, I kind of should have went with some gray first, actually, now I'm looking at this. Okay, that makes sense, yeah. This almost looks like a city skyline. So this almost looks like Nike. Maybe for this, maybe I just use like dark green. Just like a different color to separate it. Even though it should just be basically like the same tone, just like a little like darker, just slightly. But I might just go with green or go with the blue maybe. That could be kind of interesting, using the blue. For this tree layer, let's see. But no, I think I'll go with the green actually. Yeah, I'll go with the green. Final answer. So I feel in random isn't gonna join you for the DK rando journey. I remember when we were at your place last. It was either like the most recent time or the time before that. Like you were like, yeah, "Do you want to do a random?" And then he was like he said that he found it like kind of boring. I'm pretty sure when he tried it, I think that's what he said. So rip. There's like a certain vibe with randos. I remember like I used to kind of go back and forth with those where like when I was really into like Wind Waker randos or like doing like even like MM randos versus doing MM like normal speedruns, and it's like there's like the upsides where it's like, oh yeah, you're just playing the game, like it's not as like, you know, as serious as like doing like a normal speedrun, because it's like, oops, you know, I lost a 20 seconds on this thing, like this run's garbage now, for example. Like in rando, it's a lot more like freeform about how you can go about approaching playing the seed, you know, versus in a normal speedrun where it's like, yep, you're following the route and like doing the same thing every time. And like sometimes like having that freeform action in the rando is kind of nice, but then other times, like, I don't know, like having the consistency, I guess, of the speedrun route can be kind of nice. So it's kind of a weird thing. Ike, you'll make him do some at GDQ. Feels good. Maybe you guys can do a DK 101% race. He was learning that category, I saw. He did like one stream of learning it. I don't know if he's been doing it more. I haven't seen him stream recently. I'm not too sure what he's been up to. His stick broke? His N64 stick broke? Are you serious? That's crazy. That's unhype. He's gonna switch to a different controller. He's gonna use like RAFnet, like for a GameCube or a Hori maybe. That's unfortunate though. That's not very hype. I wonder how it broke, like, I wonder like what happened with it exactly. The acrylic cap broke almost in half on his Tau stick, but he'll be using his OEM stick in the meantime. Well, damn, G's got the answers. I wasn't expecting a specific answer like that. I still have like some spare parts like for my steel stick. I wonder if like any of those like could potentially be like transferred over, but I assume like they don't like attach on the same way since it's a different type of stick entirely. So I would assume probably not. That's what I think about like anytime people like are talking about like N64 controller stuff. It's like, damn, like meanwhile I have like a steel stick that's just sitting here on my desk doing nothing. Like I have something that's so like sought after and like I like never use it. But at the same time I'm like, I don't know if I would ever get rid of it. Power stick though, I don't think I've ever heard of that. I guess like in the time of like steel stick not being a thing anymore, I guess there's probably just been like so many like variants or like just so many like types of like replacement N64 sticks. And this orange is bussin'. This orange is popping right off the page, right off the screen. And the way that my background trees look, they kind of have a vibe where they look a lot further away. Because I had to make them shorter to make sure like there was still room for the sky to be visible. I could have made like them like a little bit taller, but I didn't want them. I want the sky to have like room to exist. Little moment of the Mario Paint canvas not being as tall as the Bob Ross canvas. I do wonder though, whatever happened to the steel stick guy? Because he just kind of like vanished off the face of the planet one day. Like I remember his online store still like you could buy like the bowls for a while there, but like the actual stick module was just like non-existent. I was curious about like that sort of stuff, like what happened to these people. Cause that shit was an insanely high demand. Like people wanted that so badly. I remember I wasn't even going to originally get a steel stick. Cause I was like, I don't know if I really want one. Cause at the time, like, I don't know. I think it was because I like didn't play Mario 64 on a steel stick or on an N64 controller. But at the time I was playing Paper Mario on an N64 controller, so I guess that made it worth. I don't even remember like how much of like time I spent on Paper Mario with the steel stick in action. Like I'm pretty sure like I didn't actually end up playing like too much of it with the steel stick, if I remember correctly. Because at least mine, like it felt really nice to like move. It felt really smooth in that regard, but my steel stick definitely like wasn't like calibrated properly or whatever. So I remember if you went into like the left or right notch, it just sometimes wouldn't go straight left or right. It's like you had to like go into the notch and then like ever so slightly nudge the stick like upward slightly to get it to actually be like full left or full right. Otherwise, I remember like you would go like downward slightly. And so that was like super annoying to deal with, high key. Because you would sometimes just get like screwed over for like a trick where it's like, yep, you need to hold like exactly straight left or whatever on this, and it's like, oops, I'm holding straight left, I'm in the notch, but nope. The controller said, no, you're not. And it's like, okay, that's fun. It's always fun to deal with. I don't know, that always sucks to deal with in like speedrunning or I guess like any hobby like that, where it's just like you're having to deal with technical like hardware problems, like something that's like literally not your fault because of something being faulty. Never a good time. Okay, we're a half hour into this painting. Oh yeah, I think using this for like some darker tones, like using this tone, the orange, and then probably some like maybe little bits of yellows, I think will be nice. Also, you said earlier, G, that your containers don't show up until tonight. Is that like confirmed they'll be here tonight, or is it just, yep, hopefully they'll be here tonight? We need to get new Tupperware at some point in time. We actually threw out like a bunch of our old Tupperware at some point. When we were throwing out a bunch of old dishes a few weeks back. We ended up throwing out like half of our Tupperware. But we have not gotten any replacements. Definitely, ideally, would be getting like Tupperware that's like glass containers. I think the plastic lid is fine for Tupperware, but I think definitely. Well, I think like having like the plastic ones is like okay for like, you know, if you're storing not hot things in it. But when my dad was on his Temu arc, he got this one like like what's the word? This like compressible silicone Tupperware bowl, and the only thing I ever used that for was beans. Like if I open a can of beans and it's like I'm not using the whole can, like I would just put the rest in there. It's like I think that was okay, but that one we ended up throwing out because it's like, you know, who knows how safe this is since it was just some like random shit he got. So what's the vibes? What's everyone up to right now? Or we just big chillin'? Drinking coffee? Oh, frick yeah. Pokemon TCG Pocket? Oh, frick. Fire me up with that pocket. Dude, what do you do if you are because I feel like I've been dealing with soreness, like, I guess, like, in, like, the traps. I believe that's what this muscle is. It's, like, right, usually on the left side. I'll just, like, randomly have, like, soreness there, and I'm like, why? Like, even, like, when I'm just, like, sitting here, it's just, like, yep, it'll feel sore, whatnot. It's, like, is it a posture thing? Is it a... I don't fucking know. Is it a human body being shitty thing? Because oops, human body is has so many random yup moments for sure. Did I sleep on it? I don't think I'm like consistently like sleeping on it weird or anything. I don't think. That's my other favorite thing. Like, oops, you slept, but you slept bad. Try again, idiot. I love that one. Eating your local pizza slices you got. That's hype. What flavor are they? If we got multiple flavors or if it's just the same flavor. Ooh, speaking of pizza slices, on the Japan Eat YouTube channel, I watched one of the videos last night, and it was of some, I think it was some other like convenience store that isn't like, you know, like 7-Eleven, or I think Family Mart, I think is the other like popular Japan convenience store. And it was like some different company altogether. And one of the foods that he showed from there was like homemade onigiri, and I was like, that shit looks so good. It looked damn good. It had like a ton of chicken in it. It had like, that thing looked like they were being extremely generous with the filling. I was like, god damn, give me some of that, please. I haven't Monado gaming. Thank you for the 43 months. How's it going? Also, oh wait, no, that was in Discord. You posted one of my emotes earlier. Unless if your sub like literally just ran out or something, which would have been kind of crazy. But yeah, I don't think I've had onigiri since we were at the ramen restaurant where G had a cutscene for us ready. Like, I think that's the last time I ever had it. Tragically. At least the onigiri from that place, they made it really good. I guess it's the only place I've ever had it from. I'm like, this shit goes so hard. I love it from there. Because at least the ones that I would always get, it was just like, you know, the rice ball, and then it had, I think, yeah, the ones I always got had chicken in it. I don't know, they were just so good. I don't know what they were putting in them, but goddamn. I see that you typed in your chat that you're gonna work on an alert. Were you just not feeling doing more TP today? Question mark. Also, I don't know why, but like the tip of my left middle finger has been like really has been sore for like I think the whole weekend, and today it's still sore. It's like just like the tip. It's not like ooh like the middle of it hurts or anything. And like I think my index finger was a little sore, but that's fine now. It's like just like my middle finger. Like yeah, it might have been from like gripping like my drawing tablet stylus like too hard maybe or something. For, like a long time without realizing it. But I'm like I've never had like this specific sensation before. Very weird. You should watch Epic the Musical again. Oh yeah, that's like the Fortnite musical, right? Like by Epic. Fortnite the musical. Yeah, when's the Fortnite Broadway show happening? Minato as Jonesy. Whoa. Now that would be a show worth seeing. Imagine anybody other than Justin playing as Jonesy. I mean, think about it. You have white guy, has hair, doesn't wear glasses. No, I can't be Jonesy because he doesn't wear glasses. Like, we look nothing alike. Okay, but my hair color also does not match his fully, that's for sure. Justin, do the gritty. God. And then we can ban Justin finally, thank fuck. Yeah, I was actually thinking today, like, damn, this is like the longest like stretch of time I feel like we've went without like really playing much of that game. We have, I don't want that to go all the way up like that. We'll just do it with the small brush. Doesn't the season end like, is it this week or is it next week it ends finally? And then who knows, maybe it might be something even worse next season. If the alleged rumors are true. That's like, oops, we are doing superhero stuff again, even though we just did that like less than a year ago. Ah, yes, we will just keep doing the same things repeatedly. I don't know. I guess we'll see though, who knows. June 7th? Okay, I was pretty sure it was like this week that it was ending. I'm curious what like the general like player count has been like over the course of this whole Star Wars stuff versus like the previous season. Like if there really is like much like fluctuation with that. Disney will hopefully stop funding Epic. Hopefully. Because yeah, I'm sure like a part of it is like how we had the whole Marvel season. It's like, yep, you have to do this. Since we're giving you money, you have to do a whole ass season that's dedicated to this. Star Wars sucks. I can't even like speak of like actual Star Wars films. I've never seen a full Star Wars film. But in Fortnite, yeah, it's definitely definitely very cringe in that game. Is Fortnite a launch game for the Switch too? I'm sure, yeah, it'll probably run like way better on the Switch too. And it has like the actual like mouse mode, and supposedly you can actually hook up like a non like Joy-Con. It's like you can hook up a real normal mouse to your Switch too, supposedly, and use that as a mouse, which is kind of crazy. Which I guess would have been a major like missed opportunity if they didn't allow that, because I'm sure if they didn't do that, people would just be in like Giga complaining about that. Because I assume from like a programming standpoint, like I assume if you can make it so your controller acts as a mouse, then the ability to plug in a mouse and have it function as a mouse should be like the same thing, basically, or like, you know, like something similar-ish would be there. Once again, no idea about the whole programming side of things, but I mean, clearly they did it, so it's like, obviously, you know, yep. Switch 1 allows full keyboard support already, so it makes sense. Does any game, like, utilize that? I'm still surprised, all these years later, that the Switch 1 never had, like, Netflix or anything. I don't think it had, like, Hulu or anything on the Switch 1. Because, like, the Wii U did. Like, I guess they just didn't bother because, like, everybody just has, like, you know, people got computers and shit these days. Oh, wait, no, the Switch did have Netflix, but they, like... Or no, I'm thinking of the Twitch app, how, like, they had the Twitch app on the Switch, then they discontinued it. Because I remember specifically when I was at Skittles for the first time, like, we were gonna use that, and then it was, like, literally a week prior, they discontinued the app. And it was, like, if you had the app installed, you could use it for, like, another, like month or something, but you couldn't install the app anymore, which was, like, an insane bruh. It was, like, how is it, like... How does it work out like that? Where the only time that we ever considered using this, like, they just coincidentally discontinued it, like, basically right then and there. Like, actually, it's insane that that, like, worked out that way. Had Hulu, but never Netflix. That makes me remember for my Wii U, when I bought it, how it came with this Hulu, like, 3-month membership thing. But at the time, in Canada, Hulu didn't work in Canada. So, like, unless you had a VPN or anything, you just, like, couldn't use it. I was like, bruh, like, hello? Like, I am very certain back then Hulu didn't work in Canada. I'm, like, very certain of that. But it was like, yep, here's your Hulu membership that you can't use. Switch players are really gonna be going from 720p choppy 30 FPS, awful pop into 4K 60/2K 120 with keyboard and mouse support. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It should be pretty cool. That's the craziest thing, that it supports over 1080p. Like, I would have, you know, obviously, like, 1080 60 FPS, that's, like, basically, like, expected at this point in time for, like, the defaults, like, for a standard. But, like, I was like, damn, the Switch 2 is gonna support over 1080p. Like, that's really surprising, especially for, like, Nintendo. I guess they're like, fuck it, make it support like whatever you want. So that's cool. I I think 4K especially I'm surprised about because like 4K is still like not like super common, I feel like. And I guess like I've never really like viewed things on a 4K display. Like the only time I've ever seen a 4K display is like in like a Best Buy or something. That's true. I guess if you have like an actual like television and not just a computer monitor, then yeah. I was definitely just thinking of computer monitors since it's definitely a thing for most people with a gaming PC setup. Like majority of people definitely do not use 4K for their gaming on PC. But that is true for an actual television set. Yeah, if the display is that big, then you definitely are gonna want 4K for sure for like a normal TV. And you know, I guess it'll probably help for Nintendo that like they'll probably actually optimize their games if like any like first party games like are 4K native, then it's like it'll probably actually run well, hopefully. Like if the next Smash game, imagine that supports like 4K. Like I will high key very much expect whatever like the Smash title ends up being on the Switch 2. It'll probably end up being minimum 1440p 120 FPS. Or at least 1440p like 60 and then like 1080 120. I think 1080p 120 FPS, I think that is like pretty, I think that's very expected because considering Smash going all the way back to like the N64 even like that supported 60 FPS. I don't know like in like 4-player matches on Smash 64 how consistent it ran at 60, but it did run at 60 back then. Still does. Yeah, sorry, if you play Smash 64 nowadays, it only runs at 30. Because, like, isn't that a thing on, like, PS5 Pro games or whatever, where it's like, yup, this thing supports 4K, but, like, most games, like, don't even run very well on it or something if you play at 4K? Pretty sure that's what I remember hearing. Yeah, I'd imagine, like first party titles on the Switch 2 will be hopefully optimized well to run at like 4K and such. What I'd be very surprised if they don't do 120 FPS Smash, like unless they just like for some reason can't get it to like be stable at that. But I feel like they'll probably get there. The whole PS5 Pro marketing was centered around it being the best at both performance and graphics modes. Because the base PS5, you can choose performance or graphics. And the Pro is supposed to be best at both, but even then it can't hit 4K 60 for some titles. And like that's the big thing. Like having a fluctuating frame rate super sucks in my opinion. Like if your game runs at like 30 FPS, like you know how I played Breath of the Wild at 30 FPS, but like playing on like MU, it ran consistently at 30 like the entire game, so like that was fine. But it's like when the frame rate just like fluctuates constantly, like, that shit just feels awful. Just give me a consistent experience, please. Even though it's like, yeah, nowadays like you expect everything to run at like 60, because that's very fair to say that's like the standard at this point in time. But at least I would be consistent at the minimum. I wonder how many hardware or how many like performance issues from games are just because of Unreal Engine 5 being just seemingly like not optimized very well, because I just feel like in the modern day, like that just feels like such a common issue where it's like, yep, this game just like, yep, all these games just don't run well, even if you have like a very good PC. Like, I feel like you shouldn't need like a $5,000 computer just to like run these like new games. And I guess like, you know, I'm not somebody who plays like all these like AAA new titles, but like I feel like you hear about it so much these days compared to like if you go back to like the 2010s. Like I feel like that wasn't really a common thing where you heard about that happening. It's like I always say, like I remember when I first started playing when I tried Fortnite with y'all for the first time back when it was on Unreal Engine 4, I assume. Like it had like 0 performance problems. And then once they switched to Unreal Engine 5, it was just so much more inconsistent. It was like crazy how much more inconsistent it got after that. And I assume like a large part of this is because of like I know like Unreal Engine 5, it's like, yup, look, we can do all this ray tracing and reflections and lumen, I forget whatever, I think the lumen lighting effects or whatever, what do they call that specifically? Like it has such a big focus on all that shit. Which I don't know, I don't understand how that became like the standard for everything. It's like, yep. Also, yo, Shaggy. Yo, congrats on the 10 stream watch streak. Let's fucking go. That is longer than what your bag of coffee lasts. Buh. How big is your bag of coffee? Meanwhile, I've had, you know, let me look it up. Because I have had the same bag of loose leaf green tea for, let's see, when did I buy my current bag? August 11th, 2023. So I've had the same bag of green tea for almost 2 years, and it's like half empty maybe. Damn, apparently since 2018, I've bought this exact bag of green tea 3 times. And you know, I don't always drink like green tea daily. You know, recently I've been drinking it more actually. Yeah, I'm like big chillin'. How expensive even is this bag of green tea now? On Amazon? Currently unavailable. But do they not sell this anymore? I mean, there's probably other brands I could get. Damn. I guess they just don't sell this anymore on Amazon at least. Well, I guess I'll have to figure out a new one, I guess, when this runs out in like a year or two. A lot more greed has entered the industry in the last decade, which has allowed for worse optimization of games, shorter dev times, more crunch while laying off thousands. Yeah, that's true. Like, you hear about, like, Microsoft. Like, I feel like they've done this multiple times where they like, release, like, a new game, and then, like, shortly after, they just, like, delete the company. They just, like, lay off everybody. And it's like, yep. Like, isn't that what happened with, like, the, like, Jet Set Radio team or something? Like, Microsoft, like, bought them, or, like, the game released, and, like, it did well, but then they were like, yep, we're gonna, like, delete your studio, by the way. Like, it wasn't... Pretty sure something like that happened. Yo, Kayla. Thanks. How are you? This one's going not too bad for Mario Paint. Cause yeah, some of these Mario Paint paintings are pretty hard to translate than others. This one's definitely like a pretty, I'd say, like, not too bad one to translate to Mario Paint. Microsoft laid off 6,000 people, bruh. I love that. Oh no, how am I, as the CEO, gonna be able to afford my 20 yachts this year? Ah, let's lay off a bunch of people. Great idea. For Mario Paint, you have to use this mouse that was made specifically for Mario Paint. It also came with a dedicated mouse pad too. So it feels good. It works decently well, honestly. And it has like the classic, like, actual, like, literal, like, ball that, like, old computer mice used to have. You went to a gay wedding this weekend? Damn. That goes hard. I hope it was a good wedding. I hope they won at the wedding. You know, the thing about, like, just greed and such in the gaming industry, it's like, when I was reading or watching a video about like, multiverses, how that game shut down recently, how I know at one point in time during that game's life cycle, like, Warner Brothers, like, bought the studio that was making multiverses. And apparently, I guess Warner Brothers just had, like, a bad reputation with, like, game studios at that point, and then it's like, yep, shortly after they got shut down. And the game got shut down. Which, you know, still insane that, like, that game flopped. Like, they had... It was so easy to turn around that game. Like, that game, I feel like, is a prime example of them being just way too greedy. Like, of just being like, yup, we need to milk as many microtransactions as possible from all these people playing the game. And it's like, bro, like, guarantee, because characters in that game was like a huge, like, problem where it was like you couldn't just, like, get the characters easily unless if you paid money for them, which, you know, for your average player isn't a great business model, especially when, like, getting characters, like, was such a giant pain in the ass, supposedly. But it's like, literally all they had to do was make the characters free, and, like, the game probably gets saved at that point. I don't know, like it was their game to fuck up, and they did. That's what I thought. I wasn't sure if there was another way to do it with other software. Yeah, if you emulate Mario Paint, I'm sure you can probably like play it with a mouse, like with like an actual computer mouse, I assume. But we do this on the real hardware, as legit as possible. The real question is, was there an open bar at the wedding, pausers? Companies want everything quickly, but they no longer take risks or try new things. Yeah. And it's like if something like slightly underperforms in these like for these like giant corporations, it's like, oh, we need to kill that thing immediately. Like I think I talked about this like last week on stream at some point, but like how it's supposedly, I'm pretty sure for Disney, like Princess and the Frog was like the last like 2D animated film they made, and like I guess that film like just didn't do, like it did fine, like it did good, I'm pretty sure, in the box office, but it didn't do like amazing. So then after that they shut down like the 2D animation department, which is cringe. But I mean, my weekend was, it was aight. It was okay. I've been working on this one rush commission, you might say, which I'm actually gonna work on once I'm done with this painting. So I'm not gonna do anything else on stream today. It's gonna be just a Mario Paint day, because I need to get that done. And I don't want to drag my feet with it too much. Even though I've gotten good progress on it so far. Yeah, I haven't like publicly like opened them or anything, but I was contacted. I haven't said anything specifically about what it is, just because I don't know if it's supposed to be, how secretive it's supposed to be. But they were like, oh yeah, can you do this by Thursday of this week? So it's like, I was like, yeah, I can do that. So I need to commit to that. Loads of tequila and Mexican alcohol. Damn. Must have went hard. You had a rainbow cake with natural coloring. You ate 4 slices. Were they big slices? At Kendall's wedding, the cake, I forget what flavor it was, but the cake she had there was really good. I only had 1 slice though. Rip. I'm pretty sure like the cake was like, it was like all like on like a table, like slices were cut and like just put on plates on a table. And I'm pretty sure like when I went back, like at some point, like everything was just getting packed up, and I was like, oh, which that was one thing that I thought was a little weird, because like yeah, I guess like on like the wedding invitation and all, it did say that like, oh yeah, the wedding will be from this time to this time, but it's like, you know, nobody's paying attention to that when you're like at the wedding, like partying and such. So like I would have expected that they were going to like give some kind of like announcement over like the speaker, be like, hey, you know, if you want to get any more food or whatnot, like we're gonna pack it up in like 20 minutes or something. I would have appreciated that, because I think I also went to get more food at one point and everything was just getting packed up, and I was like, oh, I guess I won't get any more food. And I think the same thing happened with the cake. I was like, oh, I guess I will not get any cake. But then also, like, at the Airbnb afterwards, like, for the rest of the week, like, we did have, like, a bunch of that food in our fridge. So I guess I was able to have some anyways throughout the week. So, you know. You know how it be. Am I about done with this? I'm about done with this one. I wish I had a bit more room at the bottom, but, you know. The way of the Mario Paint painting. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm at that point to call this painting done, so I guess that's where we'll end it there. So I hope you enjoyed this painting.